love it. Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Brian Galke, and guess what? That's right. I'm bringing us in again this week.
I know.
Because he's lazy.
It's because you took a week off. We're trying to get you back into practice.
Is that what it
on my
is?
do not disturb and my go lives. And
You're just so busy. You're such a international superstar.
no, you might. Speaking of, you might be alone next week because I don't know if I can sneak away from these events, but we'll figure it out.
What events are you going to? Can you talk to them? Are they super private, secret, probation?
No, not at all. Not when we're going to record. So Tuesday, I'll be speaking at. It's called Brand Your Authority. And it's helping people do podcasts. How can they understand their guests better? How can they be better hosts? What are they doing to draw people in? So I'll be speaking that day. Then I'll be on an AI panel talking about what AI tools do I use in my business and for our podcast and that stuff, which mainly I just say Ed, since you're the one who uses a majority of the stuff for that. And then I'll be on a panelist as like a judge where people are going to talk about their podcast, why to be on it.
The same one on Tuesday. Or Wednesday.
They'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. So it'll be those. Well, Monday, so I'll be just kind of going full schedule. Saturday, going to Amberley's event here in Dallas, Texas. Then I immediately fly out Saturday night, speak to a company called VR Nation at their event in Austin on Sunday and Monday. Fly out Monday night, go straight to Vegas, then go do this Brand Your Authority. And I'll speak there till Wednesday. Then I fly home Thursday, and I speak at Ryan Stewman's event back in Dallas here on Friday, along with Brian Covey and Neil Holmes, a.k.a. Neil Dingra. So it's going to be kind of a crazy week.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It is. I'm moving it over here. So,
all right. So today we're not really, I just threw it out there. Everybody goes, AMA, ask me anything. I'm like, but it's us. So I said, AUA, ask us anything.
Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot in the last coming up on 3 years.
Yeah,
we really need to just hire somebody to just go put all of the last year's episodes out there.
I have my pod. I keep them pretty busy right now. I mean, I'm got them full time, and I only pay for part time.
That's awesome.
I pay for part time, so that means I got to pay like 4 times for part time.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so I had to. Helping the Brave podcast turned into the Veterans Benefit Company, right? Plus the podcast. So that website's almost finished. It's live, but there's still issues with it that we're resolving. And then my store is shop at shop.edparcaut.com is almost fully live. I just have to upload my products. It's actually not that difficult when you hire other people to do it.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. When you hire the right people to do it.
And then I finally got all the stuff together to do the Pod Veteran, which is my my podcasting course and all the other stuff that I'm going to do through the Pod Veteran stuff. Everybody's like, you're only going veteran? I'm like, well, it's kind of a play on words.
Exactly. I am a veteran. You've been doing it for so long.
And I am a veteran. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to show you my flyers so you can see what we're talking about for next week. I just had to send them to myself.
Look at them. They're so amazing.
I know. I was having to send them from my
PDFs
phone.
Or they JPEGs?
I was having to send them from my phone. So
if they're not PDFs, they won't share on here.
No, I can just pop them. They won't? I'm pretty sure they will. Let's see.
Not inside, but if you share a screen, it will.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
There we go. So, show you.
Let me show you something. Is ask us anything. If you have questions at all about anything, ask us. While you're trying to get your flyers out, the one I got the other day was, what is schema markup, and do I really need that on my website?
Yeah, because that's what you talked
schema
about.
Is so we've been talking hyper local. Everybody's talking about being hyper local. It's
yeah. So this is the one that's in Vegas. So scale your business with podcasting. So we're gonna do speaking, panels, all that. Then I'll fly right back, come down to Ryan Stewman's right here, the industry leaders. So if you know Neil Dingra, aka Neil Home, then Brian Covey and my good friends, Stewman here lives in Dallas, hang out with him quite a bit because he does a lot of events at his house, not like or at his location, not like I go to his house. And then just another version of that one there. So this will be one of the first ones that I'll do in a t-shirt because we're going in instead of the normal attire. We're all going to wear the black V-necks, which I'm very comfortable with on podcasts, but not when doing it that way. So figure out where my mouse is so I can stop
bragging.
sharing.
You're braggadocious.
Yeah, whatever. Since
Easier.
we're
I
talking
just
about you.
now you see it's easy. You can just click on the double people so at the bottom it takes it out, and then you can
Oh yeah.
you don't have
There
to
you
wait
go.
around, to do it.
Teach me the ways.
The ways. Yeah, we got my firewalk coming, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So it's coming down to the wire.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's just, one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. But
we'll go ahead and talk about that for people who don't know what it is. Why don't you show the website and talk about why people can still do it, where it's located in California?
well, I'm in Modesto, California, and guess what? It's in Modesto, but in the county because the city fought me forever to do it. And so that's what Operation Firewalk came out of my Rotary year, and it's operationfirewalk.com. If you want to show while I'm talking, that's fine. Basically, it is an event for veterans, first responders, and our family because of what veterans go through and first responders go through with PTSD and stuff. Our family goes through with us, so we want them to come. Last year we had almost a couple hundred people show up. We'll have definitely 225 show up this year because that's the max capacity one day. And the deal is to grow it. And everybody's now wanting to get involved for next year. So it's going to get bigger. You okay there?
Yep. I'm just adding in what you're talking about.
Oh,
I was went and loaded it and I'm getting ready to share it.
Yeah. So we'll see if it's been updated. I did a video like weeks ago and it was supposed to be updated, but the problem is we're all volunteers.
Yeah.
I like that logo. That's an excellent logo.
Yeah, that's a really good logo.
Yeah, ChatGPT. So basically, doors open at like just says 4, but we'll eat at 5. Keynote speakers start at 5:30. They're both the first one's a veteran of Navy and Army for 35 years. You're going to talk about fear. The next guy is Brian's. Can you go down? Is it Brian? Yeah. Scroll down to the keynote speakers. Yeah, nope, he still didn't update the video. Bobby Scene. He was a firefighter on 9/11, and he had 2 buildings fall on him, and then the next day he was out there getting his buddies out. Yeah, it's going to be intense. And then after this, about 7:45, we'll have Dave Albin come up, get you ready for the firewalk. He'll do a board break, and then we'll go out and walk across coals. And then basically it's a people call it a rite of passage. I call it whatever that fire you want it to represent is what you make it represent. And that's what you're doing. You're trying to get through that. So
that's right.
If you have questions,
yeah. I can't see the questions since I'm sharing here, but
we'll get it off those questions.
I know. I'm going to take it down.
Are there any questions? Message us directly.
There you go. So
next one over.
Screen.
Mr.
I know. I did stop screen.
No.
All right. Let me go see if there's questions. Why is Ed such a? Oh no, never mind.
That's your question.
Yeah.
Well, I think I told you the day. Did I tell you about Chat asking me what most people get wrong about me?
No.
Yeah. So when Chat updated, it tells you it knows everything about you and it goes across all platforms. But it was like what like it's in 6th grade, something I ignored it. And then I came back the next time. It was like, what do most people get wrong about you? And I said, I'm mean. And so it came up with these statements like, I'm not mean. I'm just mission focused.
I got you.
And I was like, wow, that's a great t-shirt. And then it was another one was helping the brave, not the comfortable. There's a bunch of it. I was like, wow, you're just shooting out things for my t-shirt store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, what's nice is finally having a lot of this because I was talking to Ralph the other day and he's like, how does it feel to finally have something there that you can get all your shit done when you want to get it done, with the people? I was like, well, it feels really good but I'm fully not there still. Now he goes, are you coming up with more ideas? I said, yes and no. I still have a bunch of ideas that I need to get out there. Yeah. And so I'm going to send them all my stuff to create my products and put them upload on Printful. So what happens is you take Printful, it connects through Go High Level, your store, whatever. And then I have collections on Printful for the different Operation Firewalk, Inner Edison, Real Estate Jerky, Helping the Brave. And then I have a veterans centric one that's just about, it's inspired by veterans.
So why don't we do that one day where you're the full-on Joker and you literally go through where did you start and then how did you add in these different things? Like I think people like to see the screenshots, like see the printable, see, you talked before about uploading books. Why do you load up to Amazon? But what was the other one that you
that is through Amazon. That is how you do it through Amazon.
Right. But you said there was a different company that you also need to make sure you do your books through. So you can
What
buy
I was saying, not scribe, but I can't think of it, but how you upload your book through Ingram Press, Ingram, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was gonna say, because you
You
mentioned
upload there. I know, but you upload in there, and then that goes to Amazon. But
right.
they have all created a direct link to your own, so you can have on your own website. People don't have to go to Amazon to get your book. Plus, you could also offer your book a lot lower, and then you make more money, or the same
Yeah.
price, and you make most of the money
Yeah.
versus making $3 a book. And that's
That's yeah, we've talked about that before. My mentor makes $2 a book. I thought when I was recommending, I was like, he's getting $5 or $10 a pop. It's a $25 book on Amazon, $2.
yeah. Well, if they own it,
Mm-hmm.
they can put the link on their website.
Yeah, no, he's got his own. You can buy from him, but when everybody just goes, "Hey, are you on Amazon?" All right, a question came in from only Akira. I'm going to guess is how you say her name. I want to start a company, but I'm stuck and broken. Can you guys give suggestions? So
Stuck and
that's
broken means they don't have any money.
I think it's that, and they're stuck on like what to even start a company on, and that's since you talk about avatars and everything else, you want to start with this one, Ed, and I'll follow up after you.
Yeah. So what I would tell them to do is create a GPT.
Mm-hmm.
So find an assistant named ChatGPT, name it whatever you want. So when you tell people you're going to have your assistant do it, they don't need to know who's actually doing it.
Exactly.
I call mine Chad. So I have Chad do it. And one of the things you want to do is find out what you're passionate about. What do you like? Who are you? So maybe you create a GPT. Okay, forget GPT. Just go into chat and have it research who is, and you put your name in there. Have it find out who you are and see who, and then add more stuff to it, and then find out who you like helping. I'm a veteran. I started in the mortgage industry helping veterans, but I got away from that. And then now I'm back helping vets full time into everything. It's like taking over my whole life. Everything is about vets. When I talked about my 360 today, it was about how my military service and why am I doing the stuff that I'm doing. And that's created all the service that I do. Starting, it's easy. A lot of people you see like on Instagram constantly now, since I started a store. They're like, we get a store done in 5 days and up and running. It's
right.
You print full. You can design t-shirts, you can design sweatshirts, you can design coffee cups, everything you ever wanted, it's there. You can sell directly through there. Really, they don't recommend it. They recommend you going to get a store like on if you set one up on Go High Level, or if you set one up. I'm going to get to her question in a second. All right, sure. I'm kind of getting there. What's the other one? That's Shopify.
Shopify.
They recommend. So with Printful, they're like, now take all your products if you have your own store, but now put them on Shopify and all these other places to sell them. Yeah. People will sell at 1 or 2 t-shirts and make some good money on it. So the question is, what are you good at? Period. And that's what you need to find out. Who do you like helping? Who was your perfect client? I created that GPT that breaks out the buyer's journey of whoever you want to. And it knows me so well now that it knows what my journey is for my clients, which is veterans and stuff like that. And so it redoes everything I do and cleans it up so much nicer. I sent that over to Ralph and I said, hey, check out this. He's like, if you don't use it right, if you just tell it to look at something, it'll just look at it and give you a little bit. But if you tell it to analyze it, then it gives you so much more. And you can usually help you write your different words for your website. So back to that person who says, I'm broke. I get it. There's no other time in history right now you can do stuff inexpensively by yourself. You don't have to have a lot of money to start a t-shirt store. Printful doesn't charge you anything to set your stuff up over there. Spotify is like $30 a month or something. Start with a small. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. I was looking for something. Why is it?
But one of the most important things if you do that is you want to have good quality t-shirts. So you need to know that which is a good quality t-shirt. Sweat jackets, like the hoodies and stuff like that. Yeah, I like Independent. Independent has some amazing stuff. They sell that through Printful. You can print on one of those. Also hats. I have a certain hat that I like, dad style baseball caps is what they call them. But I have certain ones that work real well. The ones I wear right now with the little gray on the top. But there's so much you can do. And so, don't try to be an influencer. That was a big push forever, a podcast host or whatever.
Right.
It just depends on I don't know how to answer that. Did I answer that at all?
You gave a lot of information, but I'm going to take it a step back. I agree with Ed that you can use ChatGPT and all these things, but you can go and ask it like, hey, what should I start a business about? And
Right. Well, that's what I was trying to get to. Find out who you are first, because it's going to tell you everything to start.
Right.
Unless it knows who you are.
And that's what I was going to say. So you can go in. I also recommend this book, Book Yourself Solid. Let me see if I can get it back there.
Yeah, we got it. Just say the name.
Yeah. Book Yourself Solid. So there you go. This is a really good book to pick up because it goes through a lot of what Ed said, and you can find used copies of it. You can go to Half Price Books, and it talks about what you're passionate about.
If you're on Audible, you could get it for a credit of $10.
That's true. So let's just say if they have very little money, you can go to Half Price Books, pick up that book, dive into it, because it helps you realize what is it you like to do. Because a lot of people, we hear that, just do whatever you're passionate about, but passion doesn't always pay.
Can go back up even. Here's even cheaper. Did you know the local libraries let you rent out digital books?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay. So then pick up the book. But to the point, Ed went into a lot of detail, but you first have to have direction. That's like, in what is it, Alice in Wonderland? Which way should I go? Well, what are you looking for? I don't care. Then it's like, it doesn't matter which direction you go. So what you have to have an idea is, what is it that you think you would enjoy doing? Because some people just want to be an author. Some people want to be a coach. Some people want to speak. You have to have an idea of what it is you're passionate about that people get. Well, I got to type the name of the book. It's called Book Yourself Solid is the book. Okay. You still have to have an idea. It's like saying, hey, I want to play sports. Right. That's not a good question. So when people say, I want to start a business, it's like saying, I want to play sport. You have to have an idea. Or you want to play football? Or you want to play golf? You can pick up soccer for cheap, right? Because a soccer ball is a couple bucks. If you want to play golf, you're spending a couple $100s to get started, and it's expensive because you have to go rent, go get a golf cart and get a tee time and do all these things. So you have to have some direction before you can ask people for advice.
And you know what? Here's what I would do. I back to ChatGPT.
Yes.
Ask it to come up with questions to help you figure out what you'd be good at in a business or that kind of thing. It'll come up with a ton of questions, and then you can say, let me answer those questions and help me compile what I would be good at. And this is what's so scary about it. It's going to really be right. I keep bringing up Ralph, but he's like, I trust it, but I really don't trust it. I'm like, I trust it on certain things. I'm not going to ask it political stuff because I wouldn't trust it on that.
Right.
Was the election stolen in 2020? Whatever. I'm not going to ask it those questions because it's not going to tell me the right stuff. But however, right now, the newest version of it has created some of the best logos I've ever seen. I'm talking just recently in the last week.
Yeah.
If you go to Helping the Brave, let me just do that real quick. Hopefully it goes there. I got to get rid of that one. I got to go incognito.
Get rid of the porn. I got you.
No, it's the fact that for some reason it's still stuck, and I cleared out my cache, but it still wants to send me. Let's see here. To the old thing. All right, now let me share it. Oh, that's settings. I haven't shared in this long. Jeez, present arms.
I know. You're just like, oh gosh, I make Brian do everything.
That's definitely not what I do.
That's the total opposite. The only thing I'm good at is putting banners up.
All right. So see this. So first I'm gonna say all the wording in here was all done through that thing I did, but all this was created through ChatGPT. But what I want to get at, see this veteran led right here? Is that I created that through ChatGPT. Okay. 3 weeks ago, I asked it to create that, and it was so ugly. It was horrible. And then I just recently they said they updated it, and I did that, and that's what they came up with. I was like, wow, what a difference. Yeah.
That's why people don't understand. You have to keep going back. Adam Lyons did a talk about that. Was it Adam Lyons or somebody? They said basically AI's intelligence is doubling every month. So keep coming back and asking it. Maybe it can't do it today, but it doesn't mean it can't do it next month. I don't know if you saw the funny article that came out this week. It said that it's costing OpenAI millions of dollars just from people saying please and thank you. And that's 3 words. So imagine what people are doing with it. And we've talked about this before, and we've had other guests who they go to the full-blown talk version. They have conversations with it, because if you're familiar with play therapy or anything else, it's easier for us to say what we're thinking versus type it. Because when we start typing it, we start overthinking it. And so
we tried. Yeah, we also have to spell the words right.
Yes. So if you're talking to ChatGPT, you're talking like you're conversing with a therapist, a friend, or whatever, and that's how you can get better results out of it. It's still a little weird, because I remember before you're like, don't say Alexa or Siri because it'll hear you. And now we're into having full-blown conversations with ChatGPT.
I got worse than that. The other day I was talking and my watch started finding it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And oh no, it doesn't research it. It doesn't listen to you. Oh, bullshit. Oh, and then Operation Firewalk, right? That logo was created by ChatGPT. Everything can be created by what you don't need. I just feel copywriters are going to be important, because when you do lead magnets,
yes,
ChatGPT can't do them well. And the person I have for my copywriting is amazing at making my lead magnets look beautiful. I've showed those to you, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so I hope we answered that person's question. We know we threw a lot in there. First thing, you need to find out who you are.
You need direction.
Client. You need to know that. And it might not just be, I want to start a business, I want to go do this. You also have to understand it's work to do this. What are you doing right now? How much time do you have for this? That's why, there's 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 jobs, right? The question really is,
what do you pay for, or what do you have sweat equity? So like Gary, you said you're broken. So let's just say, we don't know if you mean heartbroken, if you're broke monetarily, you name it. So the good news is you didn't say you're poor, because poor is a long-term mindset. Broke is a temporary situation. What you have is time. And that's what Ed's kind of talking about now. So there's two things when you're building a business. You have money to pay for things, and then you can outsource it, or you have what's known as sweat equity. And sweat equity is what can you do yourself that you can save money on. It may take you longer than an expert would, but then you right now you have that time. So for example, I'm not paying a video editor for my clips. What I use is Opus Pro. So Opus Pro costs me a little bit of money, but I'm using it consistently, and it's 1/30th of what it would cost me for a video editor. Now there'll be a point that I have the money that I say, you know what, just let the video editor do that for me, or a VA or somebody else.
I was saying, how many hours are you putting in to do those?
Oh, it doesn't take any time. I just go grab the YouTube video and like 5 minutes a day.
You could get a pod through Level 9 for $697 a month, and that's 40 hours a month. Are you doing?
But we're starting with her. She doesn't have money.
I know, but we don't know what that means. Everybody's, I don't have money. Some people have, I don't have money because they have a different level. I don't have money.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just saying, you start on your own, and then that's the first thing I would recommend to get. The first thing I would recommend to get after you figure out what you're going on, you have a little bit of money, is to get a pod. And you can, you can do the 20 hours for 500, but if you're doing the 500, what's another $100 to get?
Exactly. Well, I think, so let's go an opposite direction, but it'll still sync to the same point. If you're saying, I need a job, you don't just go say, okay, I'm going to take any job that's out there. You start thinking, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Is it remote? You need to ask those same level of questions, but for whatever business you want to start. And Ed kind of brought something up. I think you brought it up earlier. I don't know. We've talked in circles now about a lot of good things for everybody, but I know people who drove Uber while they were building their business. And that Uber money is what paid for those little things like hiring a pod or whatever. I was at an event, the Go High Level event that was here last October. Billie Jean said, if you won't go drive Uber for $300 and put that $300 into your ads, then you don't believe in your product. So there's a lot of times when you're building a business, and look, I'm guilty of this. Like there's been days I thought maybe I'll just go do Uber when I don't have gigs coming in that month. So there are ways to make money while you're building your passion project at the same time. What I did, when I got fired from my job in November of 2022, I said, screw it. I'm going to live off my 401k for a while. And I figured I worked for 21 and a half years for somebody else, but I wasn't planning on getting fired. So it's not like I had a lot of money set up by the side and I got zero severance. But I made a choice of, okay, where can I get the money from? And that could be a part-time job. It could be a second job, whatever. But back to what Ed talks about is, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job. Well, if you can spend 8 hours a day working for someone else to make them money, you need to pick a few hours a day and maybe an hour to build your business, your side project, because there is no safe job anymore. No, it doesn't matter what you used to. People, you say, oh, go work for the government. You can do nothing and retire for life. Not so true this year. Go be a mid-level manager. Those are those safe management jobs. You make a lot of money. Not in 2024. It wasn't, because they had the great unbossing. So just go and find those types of things.
I'm going to share something.
Do it.
All right. So what I said, can you help me find out what business I would be good starting? And, of course I didn't write it well. I didn't give a shit. And then, so it went through what it knows about me.
Yeah.
Right. And then it says veteran career and trade transition agency. Guess what? I started, after being at the event, and they're standing up and they're hiring. That last week they're all buying these local businesses, and they're trying to find people to run them. And they're talking about where to find them. I'm like, you should be finding vets, because vets come out of the military they need a purpose. They need all this other stuff. Well, this is veteran career and trade transition agency. Well, I created Brave Help. Yeah. Last week.
Nice.
And so I have all that put together. I got to upload. So I got 2 more websites I got to get created. Then it talked about, well, VA loan and disability navigating app or service. Well, guess what? That's helping the Brave. That's already in the works. Podcasting, Brave Nation community, which is also in the works, and subscription box.
But let me pause you for 1 second. You've been doing things for a very long time. She looks like she's fairly young. Don't get discouraged if you put this in here and not as much detail comes back. Ed has had multiple companies. You've been working with ChatGPT for a very long time. You've had podcasts. You've been on the radio. You're an easily searchable person. So Ed is showing you the power of what it can do when you have a lot of information. If you're starting from scratch, you're not going to see a whole lot about yourself like what showed up with Ed here. And that's where you're going to have to converse with it and almost have like confession time with it about what do you like? What do you dislike? Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
No, I just typed in, if you didn't know me, how could you help me?
There you go.
So great question. Love that about it. So what I'm getting at is this, here's how I would do it from scratch. So this is what, so
yeah,
this is, it's going to ask you these questions. And that's all I was trying to get at. So it knew me, but if it didn't know me, what were the questions? So this is what it would, so now what you do is you take all this out, and it still grabbed my shit. It still grabs, even though it said it didn't know me, it still knows me. It tells you how it searches across all platforms, no matter what. But at least you could actually go in there and have it ask you questions and get all that information, and then it would help you. It's almost better than those services, disk testing, and all those other things that are out there. That it's better than, it's good,
and it's free. Well, it's $20 a month.
That's if you paid. No, you can still get it for free.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We have the paid version, but you can get a free version as well.
Right. You just limited on searches.
Yeah. Somebody came back and asked, okay, keep reminding people that good manners, morals, and values are still the norm. It's great that you work with go on with new technology, but don't forget your morals in our society. And I'll agree with part of what they're saying is a lot of people, we're getting too robotic. We're just saying, okay, just use AI and change a few words and that's it. What will keep people employed and what will keep your business doors open is people skills going forward, because knowledge used to be power, and that's why knowledge used to be hoarded. Now everyone has access to it. So if you go back through the history of mankind, first education was only kept to certain tiers of people because it was meant to keep other people down. Then that tradition continued, right? So let's say you went to high school. Well, if you get to college, you got a better job. And if you're college, did you get a bachelor's? Did you get a master's? After your master's, did you get a PhD? There are certain things where you absolutely need to go and study at an institution. If you're going to be a doctor, an architect, an engineer, something of that nature, you need that. You can't ChatGPT that stuff. Right. But for everything else, you have access to information. And while we're talking about ChatGPT, you know what was here before that? YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. As a matter of fact, when Ed and I were first getting into high level and using things, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And then an hour or two later, Ed sent me a YouTube link like, oh, here's how you add tagging into all of your accounts. So utilize ChatGPT to get some basics down. Then when you get some direction, go to YouTube and start looking into things, because people, they're always, somebody's probably selling something, but most people who sell something give everything away for free, and they offer a program as well. So it's not, or like when you go to a lot of events, it's a tease, right? You get like 30 minutes. It's like, and if you want to use more, then buy this course. But people put free content out on YouTube, like Hormozy. That's a great one, because we talked about this like 2 years ago. If you go to acquisition.com, he has tons of free resources because he wants to help grow people to where they can eventually come and want to work with him because he gave them the knowledge to succeed. So if you haven't been to acquisition.com and got all of Alex Hormozi's stuff that's free, that's a great place to start.
Actually, what's best is go listen to his podcast, The Game.
Yeah.
Also, on top of that,
how much do you pay for that, Ed?
Nothing. It's free.
Exactly.
It's free. Free. But I had a whole thought when you were talking. Oh, back morals.
Yes.
Be careful, because when some people say people have morals. They have morals. They just have different morals than you. So be careful trying to put your morals on other people. Just because, that's all I'm going to say on that. That your morals are different than somebody else's morals, and that's why we're all different.
Right. Morals are subjective.
Correct.
I think what they were going for is be a good person, and that should be just a general rule in life.
Yeah. But what does that have to do with starting a business?
Well, because a lot of people think that starting a business, what do we always hear? Money is the root of all evil. And that's not the full statement, but that's what a lot of people think is, oh, well, you're going to start a business to take advantage of people. There are bad, unscrupulous people in every profession. I don't care what you are. There are people that are like that. Try not to be that person.
Right. That's everywhere. I mean, everybody can be everything. It's not just one thing. It's everywhere. It just, you just hear more on
salespeople,
police and other. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like doctors, attorneys, you're going to have all the bad. I had a client reach out to me, and he's bitching about some other loan officer, how they charge too much and all this other stuff. And it's like, people are going to complain.
Right.
But let's go back. We're trying to start a business. Utilize the things that are out there to help you find it. And you were saying, I sent you YouTubes. Well, if you do ChatGPT right, I know everybody's like, or whatever AI you use. AI has been around since the 1950s. It's just forward facing now for us.
Right.
If you ask it how to do something, you can ask it to give you a step-by-step of how to do it, how to find things, how to add stuff to go high level, how to do all that stuff. You can ask it step by step where you don't have to go watch a video. So at one point, the question really going to be, YouTube's doing very well. And it's in it. So all I heard last week was just be on YouTube.
Yep.
Don't worry about all the other things.
With Google losing traction.
And LinkedIn. So this is what I would say, YouTube and LinkedIn.
Right. With Google losing traction to AI, they're going to push YouTube even more. Right. So what are they going to do is they're going to do what you talked about the other week, which is they're going to go in and figure out all the ways to make YouTube videos more popular, because now they're not the front end engine, Google, anymore. So they got to figure out, how do we keep YouTube bringing money in? And that's going to be by figuring out how to integrate with all the different versions of AI so that they're pushed to the top, because they were their own lead source before, because Google owns YouTube. So what would happen is when you search for something in Google, YouTube videos would pop up first. Well, now with them not being the front engine on a lot of search, they still are. When I go to my phone, if I'm on my phone, I tend to ask Google. But when I'm on my computer, I tend to ask ChatGPT. And now with Apple, like I just got the new phone, the Apple 16 or whatever, the other week, and they just did an update. And then the big update reminder was, hey, remember, we have Apple Intelligence. And what is that? It's their way of getting in front of Google to say, let us do the searching for you. So that's, Google will lose traction. They'll never go away. But will they become like what Yahoo was? I mean, you go back, 30 years ago, Yahoo was the premier search engine and everything. And now it's like, who? You have a Yahoo email address?
Yeah, I had somebody the other day giving their email. They both have Yahoo. I'm like, ooh, Yahoo.
Yeah, exactly. But 30 years ago, it was, that's probably about 30 years ago. It was a big deal because Yahoo was one of the first search engines. And then, of course, Google came along. But now, again, I'll go to Google on my phone. It's just force of habit. But on my computer, I'm asking ChatGPT.
Well, it's like AOL was the top forever.
Yeah.
AOL. Yeah. I saw an AOL email.
Yeah, dial up.
Yeah, I saw an AOL email 2 months ago.
Oh, I still get them because I get people who go to the website and download the cheat sheet. Now I keep a Hotmail one. Like, I'll call myself out. I have a Hotmail one that is all my junk stuff, and it's what I've had for so long. Like, my American Airlines is Hotmail. My original Apple account's Hotmail. So it's just, I keep that as my junk one. I don't check it nearly as often as I should. But it is one of those. I was like, well, I need to start moving this over to Gmail, and you name it. But anyway, let's see if there's any other questions that came in. I think the one thing that we didn't talk about that Ed is significantly superior compared to me is I do a lot of research and I don't take a lot of action. Ed is excellent about researching it and putting it into action. So if anybody's been paying attention to these podcasts for the last, 3 to 4 months, look at all the things that he's created. Now, he was creating things before, but what did he do? Well, one, he already used, what do you call it? God, just drew a blank. You were using other tools before, right? But then ChatGPT became more friendly. You started getting more information out of it. And then you looked at it and said, instead of me doing everything and trying to use it through AVA, you went to a pod and you found a group of experts versus an individual VA to do things. Yes, there you go.
There's my store.
Yeah.
More than merch. It's a mission.
Yeah. So all these things Ed originally was trying to do himself, right? And then send it off to a third party. They were kind of sending back stuff that's
that logo. I made that too last week. That one.
Yeah, there you go.
Veteran inspired, earned, never given. So that's the store, and what's there are, it's not perfect. It's still getting stuff, fixed, but each one has its own page. Each collection has its own page. And that's not it. This is what I'm talking about. Your store, it drops these products in here, but like my Inner Edison has its own. This is its own page. Reinvention starts here, and it talks about, and then these are going to be the featured products that are here. I just have to go get them done, which is and that's what's nice about the way this is. You can then share each page. You know what I mean?
You said you went in and you did this, and then you can link it into your high level.
This is high level.
It's in high level. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, this is connected to my Ed Parcaut website. It's shop.edparcaut.com. But each one of these has its own own page. Like this is Ignite Your Potential, Walk Through Fear. That's our thing. And then it's going to have all the different things here. Ignore this because they don't have the products here. These are just
So okay, let's step back for a minute, because for you, you're just going through it fast. Like, oh yeah, I just had this created. There was a lot of steps that were involved in this. So,
oh my God, it's basically we need to find. This is different. I have multiple brands. Most people's going to have one brand, one collection. I have multiple collections. That's why it's so different.
Well, so let's go back. You came up with the idea by working with ChatGPT. How did that transition from idea to what we're seeing on the page?
So I use my the new GPT that I created to do for the buyer's journey and all that. So it came up with all the words for me, and it's connected directly to that, like honor with every step. You know what I mean? That's not, I would say buy now.
Yeah.
Right. And then it came up with, all this stuff. And then,
so, okay, pause for a second, because you're going through fast. ChatGPT, you came up, it helped you refine with what you're looking for. How did that
find out the words on the page? And then what it did is it actually created each step along the way for what each should be on each page.
Right. Okay. And then
I copied that and put it into a Word document and then saved it as a PDF. And each one of these pages had its own page.
Sure.
And then I gave that to my pod and said, create the store.
And they created the web pages and what people are physically seeing here.
Exactly. They took my words and put it together.
Right. That's what I want to break down for people, because you're like, well, I came up with the idea and here's the final product. So it was investigation, then revision. Once you had knew what you wanted created, then you went to the pod that you hired. They gave you back product. You reviewed it. You made suggested changes, and as we can see, it's still live right now, and you're still in the revision stage, of what the final product will look like.
Correct.
So it started out with just you and ChatGPT, which cost you $20 a month. Then you went to the next tier, which is your $700 a month VA team. And then you're working those hours out with them to have this product. So let's just say,
and I guarantee you that it's taken 5 hours to create this.
Right. So let's say you're all in $1,000
an hour at $18 an hour.
Right.
I did. So even if it was 10 hours on this, that's $180.
Right. But let's say for people to get started and try and do what you do, there's the first month that you had your VA team that you had to teach them who you were. There was an onboarding, like getting them familiar with you. So let's say it's going to cost people $1,000. So $20 for ChatGPT, $700-800 for the VA team, because it's a full team. and this is the product that you have. And the reason I bring that up is when people start talking to local people, and you and I talk to the same guy, we're like, hey, we're thinking about moving things over from WordPress to this. He's like $8,000 to set it up.
Yep.
So when you talk to people, research the other ways to do it. You can do it through Fiverr and find people for very inexpensive. So that's the hard thing, is you just have to be scrappy if you're low on funds and test different things. Fiverr, I forget what the other outsourcing one was, but you found a full team. We know people who started on Fiverr. That's how they found their VA that became their assistant. That was a VA, versus you found a company that gives you an entire team that have different skill sets, and it's still very inexpensive to do that.
Right. And what's nice, because the thing about that's so important is you have one person who helped create the graphics and everything else. You need a totally different person to do the back end, the carts,
yes.
I didn't purchase, I need to send them an email. Why didn't you all those abandoned cart issues and everything else, which who the hell knows this stuff? I don't know this stuff, but I know it now. But the best part was these people knew how to handle it. I had no idea. And to try to find somebody to do this, they charged me $5,000 easily.
Oh, that's easily $5,000. I mean, you and I talked to a person here who's trying to do it for $8,000. And, our first versions of my website, I think, cost me $8,000 to do it. And so things are changing. Don't let finances be something to be fearful of, because a lot of this you can do for very inexpensive.
Right. Basically what I found out through getting the pod, it's level 9 people, level 9 virtual, is I talked to them and they were saying agencies are dying constantly. And agencies will take what you want and then give it to this pod. And then they will handle it. And then they upcharge it. So why don't just go direct?
Right.
And I have a project manager who oversees what I'm doing. We talk weekly. And then if I have a question, we talk even earlier. I have a bunch of stuff I'm working on that I need to get back to them on, like the products for this. I need to put them together, send it to them and say, create these products per collection, right? That's be like different pages, the different ones I have, the different podcasts. Each one of those are different collections. But the reason this all started, because I got Operation Firewalk and I designed a t-shirt for that. And I didn't want to order 1,000 freaking whatever the number is, and have to pay for all that. Well, people can go, right. I'm going to have it set up to its shop, Operation Firewalk. It'll be just that collection. So people can purchase it. And then I'll donate all that money back to Rotary.
Nice. Yeah. So, all right. I got to get out of here. We've been talking for a while. Checking and see if there's any other chat questions before we go. This was actually kind of fun. We should do this a little more often.
Well, when we do it every Thursday, we don't have a joker.
That sounds like a plan. I don't see any other notes here on the side. All right. I will take us out then. You ready?
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us once again on ACES53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. So we are here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Central, because that's the most important time, or 10 a.m. Pacific, where Ed lives. On Tuesdays, it's just Ed and I. Thursdays, it's either going to be Ed and I doing one of these open ask questions, or we have what we call a joker. That's a special guest, someone with a skill or talent that we want to learn from, and we believe you can learn from as well. So the best way to support us is just share this information with you and with your friends, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And Ed, thank you once again for being here and setting this all up.
No problem. Somebody has to.
I know. And then we'll see everyone next week.
Or not all of us. Maybe just me.
Yeah. Might just be Ed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll do another I'll do an AMA.
There you go.
Instead of AUA.
ASCA. Never mind.
Yeah. All right. Make it a great day. Thanks for being here, everybody. We appreciate you.
Bye.